The Memory Thief. Chapter 1. The Last Thing I Remember. I wake up in a hospital bed with no memory of how I got here, and the woman claiming to be my wife is someone I've never seen before in my life. "Thank God you're awake, David." Her voice cracks with what sounds like genuine relief, but her eyes, green eyes I should recognize, are those of a complete stranger. The doctors weren't sure when you'd come around. My head throbs as I try to sit up. The room spins slightly, white walls and beeping machines creating a nauseating kaleidoscope. "I'm sorry, but who are you?" The color drains from her face. "David, it's me. Sarah, your wife of 8 years." She reaches for my hand, but I pull it away instinctively. Her fingers are soft, manicured, wearing a wedding ring that matches the one on my finger, a ring I don't remember putting on. That's impossible. My voice sounds foreign to me, rougher than I expect. I've never been married. I don't even have a girlfriend. And my name isn't David. The woman, Sarah, exchanges a look with someone behind her. I turn to see a man in a white coat, presumably a doctor, making notes on a clipboard. His expression is carefully neutral, but I catch something in his eyes. Fear? Guilt? "What year do you think it is?" the doctor asks. 2018. The answer comes automatically. Sarah's hand flies to her mouth. "David, it's 2025. You've been missing for 3 months." The words hit me like a physical blow. 7 years. Gone. And apparently I've been living an entire life I can't remember, married to a woman I don't recognize, in a world that moved on without the me I remember being. "I want to see some ID," I say, my voice steadier than I feel. The doctor hands me a wallet. Inside is a driver's license with my photo, but the name David Mitchell. My address is listed as a house I've never seen. There are credit cards, a gym membership, a library card, all the detritus of a life that isn't mine. But the photo is definitely me, just older. There are lines around my eyes I don't remember, a small scar on my chin that wasn't there before. 7 years of living that exist nowhere in my mind. "Where did you find me?" I ask. Sarah and the doctor exchange another look. This time, the fear in their eyes is unmistakable. "In the basement of an abandoned warehouse," Sarah says quietly. You were chained to a wall." The room goes cold. I can feel my heart rate spike, and the monitor beside my bed starts beeping faster. "Who did this to me?" "We don't know," the doctor says. "The police are investigating, but you're the only one who might have answers. If you could remember anything." "I told you, I can't remember." The words come out harsher than I intended. The last thing I remember is going to sleep in my apartment on Oak Street in 2018. I was 26, single, working at a bookstore. Now you're telling me I'm 33, married, and someone held me prisoner for 3 months? None of this makes sense. Sarah starts crying, and despite my confusion, I feel bad for her. Whether she's really my wife or not, she's clearly in pain. Can I see photos?" I ask more gently. "Of our life together?" She nods and pulls out her phone. The first photo she shows me stops my breath in my throat. It's me, definitely me, but I look happy in a way I've never seen myself look. My arm is around Sarah, and we're both laughing at something off camera. We're standing in front of a house with a red door, and there's a golden retriever at our feet. "That's Max," Sarah says. "He's been waiting for you to come home." I stare at the photo. The man in it looks like me, but he seems like a different person entirely. Confident, content, loved. "Show me more," I whisper. She scrolls through hundreds of photos. Our wedding day, me in a tux I don't remember buying, looking at Sarah like she's the only person in the world. Vacation photos from places I've never been. Birthday parties with people I don't recognize. Christmas mornings, dinner parties, quiet moments on what must be our couch. 7 years of happiness I can't access. "David," Sarah says, and I'm starting to get used to the name, even if it doesn't feel like mine. "Do you remember anything at all? Even flashes?" I close my eyes and try to reach into the dark space where those 7 years should be. There's something there, like a shape moving underwater, but but every time I try to focus on it, it slips away. Wait, there is something. A voice speaking in the darkness. You took everything from me. Now I'm taking everything from you. I open my eyes. Both Sarah and the doctor are staring at me expectantly. Someone said something to me. I say slowly, while I was wherever I was. They said I took everything from them. Sarah goes pale. What did you take? I don't know. I can't remember taking anything from anyone. But even as I say it, I know it's not entirely true. There's something else moving in that dark water of my missing memories. Something that makes my stomach clench with what might be guilt. The doctor makes more notes. We should let you rest. The police will want to interview you tomorrow, but for now. No, I interrupt. I want to talk to them now. And I want to see this house, meet this dog, understand what my life was supposed to be. David, you've been through trauma. You need to take this slowly. Someone stole 7 years from me. I say, sitting up despite the dizziness. Someone chained me in a basement and made me forget my own life. I'm not taking anything slowly. Sarah reaches for my hand again, and this time I let her take it. Her fingers are warm, and there's something almost familiar about the way she holds my hand, like muscle memory my brain has forgotten. Okay, she says, but promise me something. If you start to remember, if you remember why someone might have done this to you, promise you'll tell me. I look into her green eyes I should know, should love, and I see fear there. Not fear for me, but fear of me. What kind of man was I in those 7 years? What did I do that someone thought I deserved to have my entire life erased? And why do I have the terrible feeling that when I find out, I'm going to wish I hadn't? Chapter 2, The House of Strangers. The house with the red door looks exactly like it did in the photos, but walking through it feels like touring a museum of someone else's life. Sarah leads me through room after room, each one perfectly arranged, each one completely foreign. The living room has a leather couch that's worn in places where I apparently used to sit. There are books on the shelves, books I must have read but don't remember reading. The kitchen has a coffee maker that's clearly been used daily, mugs in the dishwasher that show the routine of a shared life. And everywhere, there are photos of me living a life I can't access. Max, the golden retriever, follows me from room to room with his tail wagging tentatively, like he's trying to figure out why his human smells right but acts wrong. I want to pet him, but it feels dishonest somehow, like I'd be pretending to remember him. This was your office, Sarah says, opening a door on the second floor. The room takes my breath away. The walls are lined floor to ceiling with books, and there's a massive oak desk covered in papers. But it's not the furniture that stops me. It's the wall behind the desk. It's covered with newspaper clippings, photos, and what looks like a complex web of string connecting various points. Like something out of a conspiracy theorist's fever dream. What is this? I ask, stepping closer. Sarah's voice is quiet behind me. You never let me in here. You said it was work stuff, but you wouldn't tell me what kind of work. I study the clippings more closely. They're all about missing persons cases from the past 5 years. Dozens of them. Men, women, children, all disappeared without a trace. Some are local, but others are from across the country. At the center of the web, there's a photo of a young woman with dark hair and sad eyes. The newspaper clipping beneath it is from 6 years ago. Local teacher vanishes without a trace. Emma Morrison, 28, was last seen leaving Riverside Elementary School on Friday afternoon. There's something about her face that makes my chest tight. Not recognition exactly, but something deeper. An ache I can't explain. Did I ever mention Emma Morrison? I ask. Sarah shakes her head, but I catch the way her jaw tightens. You never talked about your work. You said it was too depressing. I pull the photo down from the wall. Emma Morrison has kind eyes and a gentle smile. She's wearing a blue dress and holding what looks like a class photo. Children's faces beaming at the camera. Why was I so interested in her disappearance? Sarah, I say, turning around, but she's gone. I can hear her footsteps on the stairs, moving quickly away from me. I look back at the wall. There are dozens more faces, all connected by red string like neurons in a brain. What pattern was I trying to see? What connection was I trying to make? I sit down at the desk and open the drawers. The first one contains files, meticulously organized folders for each missing person case. I pull out Emma Morrison's file and spread it across the desk. Police reports, witness statements, timeline reconstructions, but also things the police wouldn't have: credit card statements, phone records, social media printouts. How did I get access to all this information? The file is thick, at least 50 pages. I flip through it, looking for something that might trigger a memory, but it's all foreign to me. Except, at the bottom of the stack, there's a handwritten note in what must be my handwriting. Em knew something about the others. That's why she had to disappear. Find the connection. Find her. My blood goes cold. The way I wrote, "had to disappear," suggests this wasn't random. It suggests someone made her disappear deliberately. Someone who knew she was getting too close to something. I keep digging through the desk. In the bottom drawer, I find something that makes my hands shake: a small digital recorder and a box of tapes labeled by date. The most recent one is from 3 months ago, just before I disappeared. I put it in the recorder and hit play. My own voice fills the room, but speaking words I don't remember saying. Recording number 47. I think I finally found the pattern. All of these disappearances, they're not random. Someone is taking specific people who share a common thread. Emma was the first to figure it out, which is why she had to be eliminated. But I'm close now. I think I know who's doing this. There's a long pause, then my voice continues, quieter now. If something happens to me, if I disappear like the others, Sarah needs to know the truth. The person responsible is someone we trust, someone close to us. The evidence is. The recording cuts off abruptly. I sit back in the chair, my mind reeling. According to my own voice, I was investigating a serial kidnapper, someone who had been making people disappear for years. And I had figured out who it was. 3 months ago, I was about to reveal the identity of someone who had been systematically erasing people from existence. And then I became one of the disappeared. I grab the box of tapes and start going through them chronologically. The first recording is from 2 years ago. I can't let this go. The police think Emma Morrison ran away, started a new life somewhere, but I know that's not true. I've been going through her things, talking to her friends, and there's no way she left voluntarily. Someone took her, and I think I know why. Recording after recording reveals my growing obsession. I had convinced myself that Emma Morrison's disappearance was connected to dozens of other missing persons cases. I had developed elaborate theories about a network of kidnappers, people who specialized in making others vanish without a trace. But as I listened to my own voice becoming more paranoid, more desperate, I start to wonder if I had lost my mind. These sound like the ramblings of someone who had gone off the deep end. Until I get to recording number 38. I found him, the man who took Emma. His name is Dr. Marcus Webb, and he runs a private medical practice downtown. But it's a front. I've been watching him for weeks, and I've seen people go into his office who never come out. I think he's been drugging them, altering their memories, then relocating them, creating new identities for them whether they want it or not. Dr. Marcus Webb. The name sends a chill down my spine. I'm going to confront him tomorrow. I have enough evidence to go to the police, but I want to hear him admit it first. I want to know what he did with Emma, where all these people are. If something goes wrong, if something happens to me, the evidence is in the safe behind the bookshelf. The combination is Emma's birthday, 0924. I look up at the bookshelf. Sure enough, there's a section that looks different from the rest. I push on it, and it swings open to reveal a small safe with a digital lock. The safe clicks open. Inside, there are dozens of photographs, surveillance shots of a man in his 50s entering and leaving a medical building downtown. Dr. Marcus Webb, according to the labels. There are also financial records, patient lists, and what looks like chemical formulas. At the bottom of the stack, there's a letter addressed to Sarah in my handwriting. If you're reading this, then Dr. Webb got to me before I could expose him. He's been kidnapping people and erasing their memories, giving them new identities and new lives. Some of them might not even know they've been taken. Emma Morrison was investigating him. That's why she disappeared. I'm going to finish what she started, but if something goes wrong, you need to take this evidence to the police. Don't trust anyone at first. I think Webb has connections in law enforcement. The only person you can trust is Detective Maria Santos. She's been working missing persons for 10 years, and she's clean. I love you, Sarah. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you what I was doing, but I needed to protect you. If Webb thought you knew anything, you'd disappear too. When this is over, when he's caught, we can have the life we planned, the life we deserve. P.S. If something happens to me, don't believe whatever story you're told about where I've been or what I've been doing. My memories are the key to everything. If I can't remember the last 7 years, it's because someone made me forget. My hands are shaking as I put the letter down. According to my own evidence, Dr. Marcus Webb is a man who kidnaps people and erases their memories. And 3 months ago, I was going to expose him. Now I'm sitting in my own house with no memory of the last 7 years, having been found chained in a basement. Someone erased my memories just like I said they would. But there's one problem with my theory. The timeline doesn't match. According to my recordings, I only started investigating these disappearances 2 years ago. But I've lost 7 years of memory, not 2. Which means either I'm wrong about what happened to me, or there's something much bigger going on than I realized. I'm about to listen to more recordings when I hear footsteps on the stairs. I quickly put everything back in the safe and close it, shoving the bookshelf back into place just as Sarah appears in the doorway. "How are you feeling?" she asks, but her voice is strained. "Overwhelmed," I say honestly. "This room, what was I working on?" "I told you I don't know. You never shared your work with me." But I can tell she's lying. Her eyes keep darting to the bookshelf, and her hands are trembling slightly. "Sarah," I say gently, "I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest with me." She nods, but she won't meet my eyes. "Have you ever heard the name Dr. Marcus Webb?" The color drains from her face so quickly I think she might faint. "Where did you hear that name?" she whispers. "So you do know him. David, promise me you won't go looking for him. Promise me you'll let the police handle this." "Handle what?" "Sarah, what aren't you telling me?" She starts crying again, but these aren't the tears of a worried wife. These are the tears of someone who's terrified. "He called here," she says finally. "Dr. Webb, 3 days ago, after we found you. He said if you started remembering things, if you started asking questions, something bad would happen to both of us." My blood turns to ice. "He threatened you?" "He said you were dangerous, David. He said you'd done terrible things. And that's why he had to make you forget. He said if you remembered who you really were, you'd hurt me." I stand up, my head spinning. "Sarah, you can't believe that. Whatever this man told you. Then explain this." She pulls out her phone and shows me a photo. It's me, but not the me from our happy life together. This me is standing over a woman lying on the ground, my hands covered in what looks like blood. The woman's face is turned away from the camera, but her dark hair is spread around her like a halo. Dark hair like Emma Morrison's. "He sent me this photo," Sarah says. "He said this is what you did to her. He said you killed Emma Morrison, and when you started to crack, started to feel guilty, he helped you forget. He said he was protecting me from you." I stare at the photo, my world tilting on its axis. The man in the picture looks like me, but I can't remember taking a single violent action in my entire life. But then again, I can't remember the last 7 years at all. "Sarah, I would never hurt anyone. You have to believe me." "I want to believe you," she says, "but how can I? You don't even remember me. You don't remember our life together. How do I know the man I married wasn't just another false identity? How do I know who you really are?" The question hangs in the air between us. And the terrible truth is, I don't know either. Who was I in those 7 missing years? What did I do that made someone think I deserved to have my memories erased? And if I killed Emma Morrison, why was I so obsessed with finding her killer? Unless the recordings were fake. Unless the evidence I found was planted. Unless Dr. Marcus Webb is even more dangerous than I thought. Someone who doesn't just erase memories, but creates new ones. False ones. But there's one way to find out the truth. I need to see him. I say. What? David, no. You can't. I need to see Dr. Webb. If he erased my memories, he's the only one who can give them back. He said he'd hurt both of us if you came looking for him. Then we don't tell him I'm coming. I head for the door, but Sarah grabs my arm. David, what if he's right? What if you remember who you were and you really are dangerous? What if I'm safer with you not remembering? I look into her eyes, green eyes that should be familiar but aren't, and I realize she might be right. Maybe there's a reason my memories were taken. Maybe I'm better off not knowing what kind of man I was. But then I think about Emma Morrison's photo on my wall and the pain in my chest that I felt looking at her face. Someone is lying. Either Dr. Webb is a kidnapper who erases people's memories, or I'm a killer who had his own memories erased to escape guilt. There's only one way to find out which. I have to know, I tell Sarah, even if it destroys everything. She lets go of my arm, and I see in her face that she's made a decision too. Then I'm coming with you, she says. Sarah, no. If this goes wrong, I want to be there. Because if you remember who you really are and you're not the man I married, I need to know that too. We stand there looking at each other, two strangers bound together by a life I can't remember and a love I can't feel. Tomorrow, we're going to find Dr. Marcus Webb, and one way or another, I'm going to learn the truth about who I am, even if it kills me. Chapter 3, The Doctor's Office. Dr. Marcus Webb's office is in a sleek medical building downtown, exactly as my surveillance photos showed. Sarah and I sit in her car across the street, watching people come and go through the glass doors. That's him, I say, pointing to a man in his 50s with silver hair and wire-rimmed glasses. He moves with the confident stride of someone used to being in control. Are you sure about this? Sarah asks for the 10th time. I'm not sure about anything, but I don't tell her that. Instead, I check the small digital recorder in my pocket. If Webb admits to anything, I want proof. Wait here, I say, but Sarah shakes her head. We do this together. We cross the street and enter the building. The directory shows Dr. Webb's practice on the 3rd floor, Webb Neurology and Memory Clinic. The name sends a chill down my spine. The elevator ride feels endless. When the doors open, we're facing a pristine reception area with soft music and expensive furniture. Everything about it screams legitimate medical practice. Can I help you? Asks the receptionist, a young woman with a professional smile. I'd like to see Dr. Webb, I say. It's about Emma Morrison. The woman's smile falters for just a moment. Do you have an appointment? Tell him David Mitchell is here. He'll want to see me. She picks up the phone and speaks in hushed tones. After a moment, she hangs up and nods toward a hallway. Dr. Webb will see you in his office. 3rd door on the left. Sarah squeezes my hand as we walk down the hall. Her palm is sweaty, and I can feel her trembling. Dr. Webb's office is spacious and well-appointed, with medical degrees on the walls and a view of the city. The man himself sits behind a large mahogany desk, studying us with calm, intelligent eyes. David, he says, and his voice is warm, almost paternal. I was wondering when you'd come to see me. Were you? I sit down across from him, Sarah beside me. And why is that? Because you're confused. Because you have questions that no one else can answer. He leans back in his chair. Tell me, what do you remember about the last 7 years? Nothing. But I'm starting to remember other things. Like the fact that you're a kidnapper who erases people's memories. Dr. Webb doesn't even flinch. Is that what you think happened to you? I know what happened to me. I was investigating you, getting close to the truth about Emma Morrison and all the others, so you had me disappeared. You erased my memories and tried to make me into someone else. David, Dr. Webb says gently, you came to me voluntarily. The words hit me like a physical blow. That's impossible. You came to me 2 years ago, desperate for help. You said you couldn't live with what you'd done, couldn't sleep, couldn't function. You begged me to make you forget. You're lying. Dr. Webb opens a drawer and pulls out a file. These are your intake forms, David. In your own handwriting. You admitted to killing Emma Morrison in a fit of rage, then covering it up. You said the guilt was destroying your marriage, your life. You wanted a fresh start. He slides the papers across the desk. The handwriting is definitely mine, though I don't remember writing any of it. I killed her. I didn't mean to, but I killed her, and I can't live with it anymore. I need help. I need to forget what I did so I can be the husband Sarah deserves. I stare at the words, my vision blurring. This isn't real. You made me write this. David, look at your wife. I turn to Sarah, and what I see in her face confirms my worst fears. She's not surprised by any of this. She already knew. You knew? I whisper. You knew I killed her. Tears are streaming down Sarah's face. You told me everything 2 years ago. You came home covered in blood, hysterical. You said you'd gone to confront Emma about something, but she tried to run, and you grabbed her, and she fell. You said it was an accident, but you couldn't prove it. Why didn't you go to the police? Because I loved you. Her voice cracks. Because you were falling apart, having nightmares, talking about killing yourself. Dr. Webb offered us a solution, a way for you to forget the trauma and start over. I look back at Dr. Webb. So you erased my memories of killing her. Not just those memories, he says. The guilt had spread, contaminated everything. You couldn't look at Sarah without remembering the blood on your hands. You couldn't sleep in your own bed without seeing Emma's face. We had to take more to give you peace. 7 years. It was necessary for complete healing. We replaced the traumatic memories with better ones, a happy marriage, a fulfilling life. We gave you the man you wanted to be instead of the man you were. I feel sick, but something went wrong. I started investigating Emma's disappearance again. Yes, about 6 months ago, you began having breakthrough memories. Fragments of the truth started bleeding through. Instead of coming to me for help, you became convinced I was the villain. You created an elaborate conspiracy theory to avoid facing what you'd done. The recordings in my office were made during your breakdown. You were so deep in denial that you convinced yourself you were investigating Emma's killer instead of being her killer. Sarah reaches for my hand, but I pull away. So you kidnapped me to stop me from exposing you. Dr. Webb shakes his head. David, you called me 3 months ago in the middle of the night. You were having a complete psychotic break, saying you were going to kill yourself, that you couldn't live with the truth anymore. I found you in that warehouse with a gun to your head. That's not true. You chained yourself to the wall because you were afraid you'd hurt Sarah if you went home. You begged me to erase your memories again, to go deeper this time. You wanted to forget not just Emma's death, but everything connected to it, including your marriage. I look at Sarah. Is this true? She nods through her tears. You called me that night, said you were going to end it all. You said I'd be better off without you. Dr. Webb saved your life. But I don't remember any of this. I don't remember the last 7 years at all. Because you asked me to take them, Dr. Webb says. All of them. You wanted to go back to before you met Emma, before everything went wrong. You wanted to be the person you were at 26. The room is spinning. Everything I thought I knew is wrong. I'm not the victim of a conspiracy. I'm a killer who couldn't live with his guilt. Where is her body? I ask quietly. You buried her in the woods outside town, Sarah says. You showed me the place before you forgot. The police found her last month. That's when everything started falling apart again. That's why you had the breakthrough memories, Dr. Webb explains. Your subconscious knew the truth was coming out. Your mind was trying to prepare itself. I stand up, my legs shaking. I need to see where she's buried. David, no, Sarah says. What good would that do? Because I need to remember. I need to know what really happened. Dr. Webb leans forward. David, I strongly advise against that. The memories I suppressed were suppressed for a reason. If they come back all at once, the psychological shock could. Could what? Kill me. I laugh bitterly. Maybe that would be better. Don't say that, Sarah pleads. We can work through this. Dr. Webb can help you process the memories gradually. No. I head for the door. I'm done with having other people control my memories. I want the truth, all of it, no matter what it does to me. David, wait. Dr. Webb's voice stops me. There's something else you should know. I turn back. Emma Morrison wasn't just a random victim. She was investigating you. The words hit me like a sledgehammer. What? She discovered that you were involved in identity theft, creating false documents for criminals trying to disappear. She was going to expose you. That's why you killed her, not in a fit of rage, but to protect yourself. Sarah gasps. Marcus, you never told me that. I didn't want to make it harder for her. But David, you weren't just a killer. You were a criminal who killed to avoid being caught. I stare at him, trying to process this new information. You're saying I was running some kind of identity theft ring? Using my research, actually. I developed techniques for memory modification to help trauma victims, but you stole my work and perverted it. You were selling new identities to people who wanted to disappear. Criminals, debtors, people running from their past. Emma found out and threatened to go to the police. That's why I had all those missing persons files. I say, understanding flooding through me. I was keeping track of my clients. Yes, and when Emma got too close to the truth, you eliminated her. The pieces are falling into place now, creating a picture of myself I can barely comprehend. I wasn't investigating a conspiracy, I was running one. And Emma Morrison died because she tried to stop me. I need to get out of here, I say, pushing toward the door. David, please, Sarah calls after me. But I'm already in the hallway, running for the elevator. I need air. I need space. I need to figure out who I really am and what I've done. But most of all, I need to remember Emma Morrison. Because if I killed her, I owe it to her to remember why, even if the truth destroys me. Chapter 4. The Grave in the Woods. I find the grave exactly where Sarah said it would be. A small clearing in the woods outside town, marked now by police tape and disturbed earth where they exhumed Emma's body. Standing here, I wait for the memories to come flooding back. I wait for the trauma that Dr. Webb said would overwhelm me. Nothing happens. I kneel down and touch the earth where she was buried. Emma Morrison, 28 years old, elementary school teacher, killed because she discovered my crimes. Still nothing. Maybe Dr. Webb was wrong. Maybe the memories are gone forever. Maybe I can never truly remember what I did or why I did it. Or maybe he's lying about everything. I pull out my phone and call Detective Maria Santos, the only person my past self said I could trust. Santos. Detective, my name is David Mitchell. I think I have information about the Emma Morrison murder. There's a pause. David Mitchell, I was wondering when you'd call. You know who I am? I know you've been missing for 3 months and turned up in a warehouse with no memory of how you got there. I also know Emma Morrison's body was found on property registered to a shell company that traces back to you. My heart sinks. So I really did kill her. Mr. Mitchell, I think you and I need to have a conversation. Can you meet me at the station? I'm at the burial site now. Stay right where you are. I'm on my way. 20 minutes later, Detective Santos emerges from the tree line. She's a small Latina woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. Mr. Mitchell, she says, approaching carefully. How are you feeling? Confused. Guilty. Like I don't know who I am anymore. What do you remember about Emma Morrison? Nothing. That's the problem. Everyone tells me I killed her, but I can't remember doing it. I can't remember her at all. Detective Santos studies my face. What has Dr. Webb told you? That I came to him voluntarily to have my memories erased because I couldn't live with the guilt. That I was running an identity theft ring and Emma found out. So I killed her to keep her quiet. And what does your wife say? That I came home covered in blood 2 years ago and confessed everything to her. Detective Santos nods slowly. Mr. Mitchell, I've been investigating Emma Morrison's disappearance for 6 years. Would you like to know what I've learned? Please. Emma Morrison wasn't investigating you. She was investigating Dr. Marcus Webb. The words hit me like a physical blow. What? She'd been researching a story about missing persons. People who disappeared without a trace. only to turn up months or years later with no memory of where they'd been. She thought someone was kidnapping people and erasing their memories. But Dr. Webb said, Dr. Webb has been running an illegal memory modification operation for over a decade. He targets people with psychological trauma, convinces them they need his help, then erases their memories and creates new identities for them. Sometimes the people consent, sometimes they don't.